See, we have to every class meeting, but let's be on this one the class one class only. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. Please and satsang, you are always cooperate. Sunday love peace. So we are honored with your presence. Is there anyone who's visiting us for the first time? Hariksha, thank you very much, Patanjali. What's your good name? Ramadevi. Thank you very much, Patanjali. Let's express our deepest gratitude to Mataji for visiting us for the first time. And let's chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamudra. So that Krishna will have inspired us to visit this amazing gathering again and again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Without further delay, it's my honor, to recognize today's Sunday Feast sponsor. Do we have Ashmet Prabhu? Is he here? So Ashmet Prabhu is sponsoring today's Sunday Feast. So let's, and he's son of Pavanjali Prabhu and Pavanjali Mataji. They're amazing devotees. They're always busy serving. As of now, also, I know Prabhu and Mataji both are inside serving in the kitchen. So let's express our deepest gratitude for their kind support and shower the choices blessing of Shri Nanda Gopi Janmala, the fact that my already and our Desha Prabhupada, my beautiful and amazing family. And let's chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamudra from the bottom of our hearts. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Also, for the upcoming events, any guesses? It's third time we are going to be announcing. 2 days from now, 16th, we are observing Sri Ram Navami. We have amazing festivities planned, drama, cultural activities, and amazing class and feast. So Tuesday evening, please mark the calendar. And also 20th and 21st April, we are observing Brahma. The day 6 years back, Shri Radha Gopi Vallabh decided to manifest in this beautiful form to accept our prayers and shower mercy on us, each and every one of us. So please be available, mark the calendar, 20th and 21st April. All the flyers and information is being distributed, and I'm sure it's part of multiple WhatsApp groups. If you have not received, please see me and we'll definitely get you back. Oh, Pariksha Prabhuji. Prabhuji, he is sponsoring today's feast, if you can. Actually, he is sponsoring. Oh, unless. So he's working. Oh, okay. He's working. They're all part of the team from long time. Thank you very much for your support. Now, it's my honor to introduce today's Sunday Feast speaker. They don't need any introduction. They have given multiple talks in the past and also in the last 2 days. Then another man, his name is Dwarkadish Prabhu, and her guest Vishakha Priya Mataji. Haribo. Haribo. Prabhu is MD in internal medicine and senior physician at Bhaktivedanta Hospital and Research Institute in Mira Road, Mumbai. He's also co-founder, trustee, and head of the Department of Medicine. He joined the spiritual trust in 1982 and fully satisfied by reading his Divinity Srila Prabhupada's books. And he formally initiated in 1986. It's a long time. And Mataji, she got introduced in 1995 when she was 9th grade, and she got initiated formally in 1986, so when she was in 10th grade. Think about her purity. And Mataji has been successfully doing IYS book screening camp through her camp in the last 24 years in 1990. No? Anyone who has any kind of counseling their seat in ISKCON Farmington from the Grasta perspective, they are the pioneers. They are teaching, preaching, and counseling Grastas for more than 3 decades. So lots and lots of families have benefited from their counseling. They are actually part of Grasta Vision Committee at Radha Gopinath Mandir and have been guided hundreds of devotees in lectures and seminars, leadership, Vaishnava lifestyle, premarital training, and marital counseling in last 30 years. One of their favorite service is acting and directing professional dramas. Prabhuji have acted and directed many professional dramas in Radha Gopinath Mandir. They are not 5-minute dramas, they are not 10-minute dramas, they are 1 hour plus drama with all professional instrument and acting and props. Prabhuji and Mataji are amazing in them. So then I can go on and on, but we gather here to hear from them. So once again, let's welcome them on their rightful place by 3 times loudly chanting. Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo.
I have to share it.
Yeah.
Can I have that?
We'll have a few minutes of kirtan. Right? Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Srivas. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Wireless नहीं slow है अरे नीचे में बटन
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
वो करो ना इधर ही करो
वहाँ पे चला गया है वो हाँ वो कर
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
दादा जी आपको है ना
ये
वाला करने का वो कर्तन है बस वो करती है कि प्रभा की कर्तन है माता के बारे में जब हम जाएंगे तो अपने आप दिखेगा you need just this right but yeah चल रहा
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातां सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण वदाम सगना कविता शाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna. A warm welcome to all the dear family members of Sri Radha Vallabha's conceptual family in Detroit here. Yesterday evening, we were here and speaking about, some of you are probably here, some of you are not here. We were talking about a beautiful historical event which took place in the 12th century in the life of a disciple of Sripad Ramanujacharya, where a devotee is asking, what are the qualities of a true Vaishnava? A very profound question was being asked, and we discussed that at some length. And then Sripad Anandacharya, who was answering this question on behalf of his friend and not brother Parashara Bhatta, said that a Vaishnava, he summarized the entire gamut of the Vaishnava's quality in just 4 words. It's very powerful wisdom. He said the Vaishnava is like a crane, like a cock, like salt, and like you, the one who was asking the question. So this, we wanted to expand on this word you today in more detail. When you say the word you, means you are a Vaishnava, so people should be like you. So do we have amongst us an example of a person who is a Vaishnava in perfection? Like you have a flower, a small flower, beautiful flower, fragrant flower. And in a bud-like state, it may give some fragrance and has some beauty. But when the flower actually opens up to its full glory and manifests all its variegatedness, its color, and its fragrances, right? So this is called as Sankuchita Avastha. It's called as the totally Profundita Avastha of the consciousness. The consciousness is fully manifest. The lotus of the heart completely manifest the glories of the true qualities of the soul in its fullest. This is an example for us to see, to hear, to meditate, and of course, to follow. So we'll be talking about that person in some detail. People of this caliber we're talking about actually paved the way for human civilization. Millions of people come and die in this world every day since antiquity, right? And they create their own small histories of how they lived in this world. But their histories, being the modern type of people that they are like lines in sand. The lines in sand are created only for the next day for the high tide to come and wash them away into complete oblivion, right? But there are people who have walked on this planet in flesh and blood, who have actually paved the way for human civilization. And what they have done, what they have said, what activities they have performed, have actually like lines in stone. They can and they never will be erased for the entirety of it, especially talk of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then, how many years back was the story of Prahlad enacted? It was many, many millions of years ago in Satya Yuga. And Dhruv Maharaj, 200,000 years, 1,000 years back, Bhishma Dev, great souls. But even today, their name is taken with reverence. And we learn from them. We learn from the Ramayana, we learn from the Mahabharata. And so these histories are called as histories which are written in lines in stone. They will never be erased by the indomitable power of time also. It destroys actually everything. Everything destructible by time. But this will not be destroyed. So that person we're talking about today is His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhu. So this presentation which we have for the next 1 hour or so is a documented historical peek into the pre-ISKCON years of His Divine Grace. Just to set the right context of why we are doing this for all of us here, my spiritual master Radhanath Swami Maharaj spoke this, and these words have inspired us to make this presentation. So Prabhupada wanted the whole world to know Krishna and be lovers of Krishna. We, all of us here, as followers, understand that unless people understand Srila Prabhupada's life and the mercy and the sacrifice he offered to the world, they will not be able to understand deeply what is Krishna. Because we understand Krishna through the life of his devotees. There is a book Bhagavad and the person Bhagavad. Without the person Bhagavad, that is Srila Prabhupada's life, the book Bhagavad remains only theoretical. Because Srila Prabhupada is the best jewel of humanity. Therefore, we have said entitled to subtitle as Jewels in the History of and also Human History.
Actually, when you come by flight, and we came from Mumbai to London first and then London to JFK. So there is this idiot box in front of all of us on the seat. And everybody is like, work for so many hours, their eyes don't pain. But the best part to look into that, which we like, is the route map, which they show you. Where are we right now? Because everything is cloudy around you. You don't know where am I, which place, how many hours have gone, how much time left for the destination, more. You feel interested to know that? I really feel this thing, okay, now I'm flying over the Dead Sea. The Gulf
But
of
I'm alive.
Oman.
Am I alive?
I'm alive. Gulf of Oman is there, and then you're flying over wherever. So when you just see the TV as it is, they just show Mumbai, and the arrow is there, and 2-3 cities are there, and then London, right? But what you can do is you can zoom in. When you zoom into the Bombay part, you can see Kolhapur around it, Pune, Nasik on the map. And then as you are going forward, you still zoom in more. Then you can see the other cities which are there. You are flying over Karachi and Falafala, whatever. Then you are over Slovenia and so many cities on the way. This Uzbekistan and then you come towards London and you zoom in, and like that, London is just a dot on the map. But when you zoom in, what do you see? There is Manchester, there is Leicester, and then they will also put British Museum, and then the Big Ben clock. They have all these marks. So all that you can see only when you zoom in. Otherwise, London is London, Mumbai is Mumbai. Everybody knows Mumbai. Everybody knows London. But if you want to see more details, what do you have to do? Zoom in. Similarly, when we are, oh, Prabhupada, yeah, I know Prabhupada. He's founder of ISKCON, and he came by Jaldut, and he met a spiritual master in Calcutta. He came by Jaldut, he did his kirtan in Tompkins Square Park, and ISKCON was established. Magic wand, as if it happened, everything happened automatically. But when we zoom into the lives of these people, we know what they went through in order to establish it. Did it happen automatic? Nothing happens automatic, right? So just like we zoom into the route map on the flight and we get to know more details because you are interested in the destination. We want to know where we are landing. You are interested in the destination. In the same way, we know our destination is what? What are we as Vaishnavas trying to do? Become Krishna conscious, become a Vaishnava, and we want to go back to Godhead. But what does it take? You need to zoom in at different times to understand the details of it. So Prabhupada's life is like a big thing. And as he said, his life is not like our life, which are lines on sand. His is lines on stone. Did you know that each one has the capacity to influence minimum 40 people around you? That's what they say. One person, knowingly or unknowingly, you influence 40 people around you, positively or negatively, at least. Yeah. Positive or negatively. Some people say, father is there, two sons are there. If the father is an alcoholic, one will definitely become an alcoholic, and other will say, not even touch alcohol. Because I saw what my father has become. Both see the same father. You can learn in two different ways. So positively or negatively, you are influencing. And if we understand how many lives did Prabhupada influence, there is no count. How can one person, not that he was at the prime of his youth, at the fag end, what is it in him that could influence so many people that today we are even sitting in such a distant country away from Bharat? People, sannyasis never used to like to try to travel abroad. Why? Because the Ganges is in India, and the more away from Ganga you go, the more sinful the place it is known as. That's why people never, India chhod ke Bharat Varsha, never go, But that, what is the song? That Gangara Parasa Hoye, na. By looking at Ganga, you feel purified. What is that verse? By taking darshan of you, it's as good as taking darshan of Ganga, and that much purificatory power is there. So same way, we know about Prabhupada's life more in detail after he came to the US. But we found it very interesting when we gathered some, heard some classes, and when we read some books and all, that what did Prabhupada go through before he boarded the Jaladut? So we thought of today zooming into that aspect of his life. Several aspects you can zoom into, but this was a little bit of unknown things, which were some things which we even did not know. And we found it very inspiring, instructive, as we mentioned yesterday, that who is the Vaishnav? Vaishnav is like you. So that you can be so many people, but for all of us sitting in the umbrella of ISKCON here, the main you, which is the source of inspiration, is His divine grace. So there is ISKCON years and the pre-ISKCON years which are there. So that's why we said we just take a quick, as we said, a documental historical peep into the pre-ISKCON years of His divine grace. And we thought for easy remembrance, we will play on the figure 3. Sometimes it's easy to remember, no? Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam. 3 times. Anything 3 modes of material nature. 3 devatas are there. So many 3s are there, na? Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, 3. 3 is a very powerful number.
Recall Gnani, possible future. So the Lord actually is called as the Lord of Threes. One of the names of the Lord is Lord of Threes. It's called as Triyadhish Bhagavan. like your Dwarkadish Bhagwan. Lord of Dwarka. So Triadish is the Lord of Trees, right? So I borrowed that number of three from the name of the Lord to put it into Srila Prabhupada's context, right? Where we talk about various three things as the recurrent theme, we understand better.
To remember it, yeah.
Yeah. So, Prabhupada's life was deeply impacted by his spiritual master. Extremely deep. In fact, he created those lines in stone in Prabhupada's heart. Right? And all the various times Prabhupada met him, which was not many, maybe about 8 to 10 times only during certain times in his lifetime, right? 3 times were extremely powerful in impacting Prabhupada's consciousness for the rest of his life. And one was, as you know, at Kudatanga Junction Road, so about 1922, and where that place is now there under ISKCON's domain. Anybody can come to Kolkata and see that place. It's an extremely powerful place where these two acharyas met for the first time in their lives, right? And the sort of the seed of ISKCON was started. So this is the same terrace. You can go and see this terrace where Prabhupada is sitting, and the one on the right side in front is Abhay Charan. So when he said, you are a young English man, why don't you preach the message of Krishna consciousness in the Western world, right? So those lines went like an arrow deep into Prabhupada's heart, right? And they never ever left Prabhupada's heart. So he was clear, his life's mission was sort of chartered for him when he was just 26 years old, that this was going to be his life's mission. In 1936, this particular picture which is seen is Prabhupada with his younger, one of his 6 sons, is Vrindavan Chandra, is standing with him. And so the Thakur is a bit upset with the things which is going on in the Gaudiya Math. At that time, he pronounces another powerful arrow of words which hits Prabhupada very deeply. If you ever get money, print, not just print and publish books. There's a difference. 2 different words. They're not the same word. Print and publish books. So that went powerfully inside, right? So in the Western world, what is the Western world? You should print. So it was becoming more clear. What will you do in the Western world? You would have to print and publish books. Okay. The third thing, this is an extremely powerful letter, which was the last letter which Prabhupada wrote to His Divine Grace. I'll just read out for them. So you can also read. In 1936, just on the 13th of December, I wrote him a letter. This was Prabhupada's conversations. Not 13th, I think by the beginning of December 1936, I wrote one letter to Guru Maharaj. I knew he was a little kind upon me, so I wrote, Guru Maharaj, you have got many disciples. I am also one of them, but they are doing direct service to you. Some of them are brahmacharis, some of them are sannyasi, but I am a house builder. I cannot. Of course, I was giving sometimes some monetary help, but I could not give any direct service. So I asked him if there is any particular service I can do for you, right? So that letter was replied on 13 December, dated 13 December from Puri. That was it. Saroj Thakur was in Puri that time, Jagannath Puri. And he passed away on the 31st December, just a fortnight before. So the reply was the same as he wanted me to do so, preaching in. So again, connecting the dots as you say, right? Again, going back to 1922, what was it said when I first met him? What was that? You try to preach whatever you have learned from me to the English, knowing people in English. That will do good to you and to the people whom you shall preach. That is my instruction. So I took up that instruction, and then he passed away in 36, because December, right? So these 3 things were the one which actually were like a burning fire in Prabhupada's heart. How could he do what his Guru Maharaj wanted him to do so badly, right? And how did he go about doing that?
So yesterday when we discussed about Anandacharya, the highlight of all the pastimes that we spoke about was what? The prioritization for a disciple of the instruction of the spiritual master. It took some time for Prabhupada to be able to execute it, but it was the same mood. So when we say who's a Vaishnava, one of the prominent things that is in the mind and the heart of a Vaishnava is, what does my spiritual master want out of me? What is he expecting? And how I can orchestrate my life in such a way so as to fulfill the mission, the instructions, and the desire of my spiritual master. That makes a Vaishnav a Vaishnav.
This is a very special photograph. This is from Prabhupada's personal diary, which was given to him by the Skindia Navigation Company. This is the first page. When you open the cover page, the first page on the right side is Prabhupada's personal memoranda, right? Where he writes his name. And you can see here, he writes his home. Residence is where? You can read it. Residence is Vrindavan. And his office is where? Delhi. That address is in Chippivada. Can you read the word Chippivada?
Yes.
Yeah, Chippivada. How many of you heard of the word Chippivada before? Nobody. This is Prabhupada's efforts of So that is the first thing you need to appreciate, that Prabhupada's office was in Delhi, right? That Delhi place, the specific address for that place is Chippivada. So let's zoom into now Chippivada. So this is Chippivada place. And the right side you are seeing the deities of Chippivada, which is now under, of course, ISKCON also. The 2019 ISKCON procured it. But this is that same room. The dome you are seeing, that the triangular uprights in the room is the attic under which the lordships are housed. I mean, the lordships. And this is that place which Prabhupada got, where he actually conceived and dreamt about his worldwide mission. So this place is extremely sacred to us, because the plan for making the movement worldwide was conceived by Prabhupada sitting in this place. And the Srimad Bhagavatam was written also by Prabhupada in this place. How did he get this place? Yeah. So, again, this is, as we know, Prabhupada has got his office in Delhi, and his home is Vrindavan. So let's talk about his home. The first place, of course, is in 1959. Prabhupada came here. This place. First place on the left side is the Bamshi Gopalji Mandir, right, which is on the exactly next to the Keshi Ghat in back of the Jamuna. Prabhupada stayed here only for 3 years. It also coincided with the Danta Samadhi of Gadadhar Pandit. On the right side, you are seeing Prabhupada, of course, the famous picture, which we always have worship in our hearts, right? But Prabhupada is sitting in front of the Goswami Samadhi. On the right side, you're seeing him sitting with his godbrothers, right? Next one. So, so there are 3 chapters to Prabhupada we have to understand during the part. One chapter is the Delhi chapter, other is the Vrindavan chapter, and third is the Bombay chapter. So again, 3, right? The 3 parts where Prabhupada actually moved around most before he went to America. Bombay, Delhi, and Vrindavan. So in Bombay, he stayed at Andheri East, which is a place where this company is no longer there now, but the Skindia house, which was owned by Sumati Morarji, right? That this was there, and their housing colony was there in Andheri East. Prabhupada would walk from there. Some of you have been to Radha Rasbari Mandir in Juhu. Some of you have seen that place. He would walk from Andheri East, because he had no money in his pocket. He would walk from the east to the west, come to Juhu, and on Juhu beach he would walk, where he has seen this place, which was called as Nayarwadi that time, right? And in his heart, he had offered this prayer that, my dear Lord, if this place becomes yours, I would like to make a nice temple for you. So he said, let there be a temple, right? So this particular flyer you are seeing, this flyer was printed by Prabhupada when he went on Jaladuta. This flyer said about how Prabhupada is carrying the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, the message of peace and goodwill. At this point of so we all know the great souls, the Vaishnavas have many qualities. One of them are qualities called as Kavi. They also write poetry. So all of us are very familiar with Prabhupada's song which he wrote when he saw the Boston Harbor, before entering the Boston Pier, right? Markine Bhagavad Dharma, Boro Kripa Koile, right? That song we all sing and very familiar. But Prabhupada wrote many poetry even before that. So we are going to talk about 3 poetries which actually at this point of time in the late 1959 to 65 reveal the heart of the Acharya. What is the mindset and the mood of this Acharya who is now living in loneliness? So this is Prabhupada is sitting in Vrindavan. This is in Vamshi Gopalji Mandir. He's sitting there on the veranda overlooking the Jamuna. And a pensive mood, Prabhupada is writing this. I'm sitting alone in Vrindavan Dham. In this mood, I'm getting many realizations. I have my wife, sons, daughters, grandsons, everything. But I have no money. They are a fruitless glory. All that is left of this family is a list of names. But on the spiritual platform, we are all relatives, brothers. All the billions of jivas when seen blessing to Krishna. So at this point of time, Prabhupada is disconnecting from within his heart with his family. He is detaching himself from his family and is connecting himself with the larger family of billions of souls. Mind you, he's not talking about human beings. The Acharya's heart cries for all souls of all species of life. That's why he's Jagat Guru, right? Prabhupada is talking about the whole world. The second poem here, which Prabhupada writes, is called Viraha Ashtaka. This is on the Saraswati Thakur's Independence Day. When the Guru Maharaj's Independence Day, obviously your heart is more in a state of Viraha. Viraha means a mood of intense separation. On the strength of Lord Chaitanya's order, you sent all of your servants door to door as givers. There was preaching everywhere, from the seas to the Himalayas. The impact of Sri Thakur was very, very large during his mortal pastimes. But now, in your absence, everything is darkness. Oh, Srila Prabhupada, you are always compassionate towards the suffering jiva souls. On this occasion of your separation, I only see dejection. How could a tiny spiritual child survive without a spiritual father? Right? So Prabhupada's heart is crying, seeing that the Gaudiya Math has not been able to fulfill the mandate which their Guru Maharaj had given them to make Krishna consciousness available to the whole world. And because of no money, no followers, no support, nothing, he was living in such poverty which we cannot even imagine, right? And because he had no money, nothing, Prabhupada's heart is crying, and is begging for help from the higher powers to be able to get that Shakti to do the will of his Guru Maharaj. And therefore, the third one is in February 1961, the Vyas Puja of Srila Saraswati Thakur. When, now this is again in Vrindavan, when you have the Vyas Puja, then what happens? The God brothers come together, right? And they worship. So Prabhupada writes this beautiful, small, again, but powerful few words. I'm just going to just few parts of a large
Not the
poem.
whole poem.
Yeah. A festival of flowers does not constitute, okay, when God was celebrating with flower gardens and Pushpanjali, Srila Prabhupada's fire of compassion burst forth from his compassionate heart. A festival of flowers does not constitute worship. What serves the message of the Guru really serves and worships him. Our master said to preach from the seas across the earth, penetrate the universal shell, come together and preach this Krishna consciousness. You can see the preacher mood of Prabhupada was so powerful, right? His life mission, right? Prabhupada's 4 Mahavakyas are there, right? Everyone knows. Purity is the force. Books are the utility is the principle. And preaching is the essence. These are the Mahavakyas which Prabhupada has given to ISKCON. Right? So this 3, how did it happen? So now the story unfolds even further. So there are 3 Sharmas who helped Prabhupada. Anybody Sharma here? You may feel very happy. Anyway, so 3 Sharmas helped Prabhupada very intimately. You can see on the left side, this is the printing press owned by this gentleman called Hit Sharan Sharma. He owned the Radha press. The Radha press printed this dust jacket of the first volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam for Srila Prabhupada. But the press did not have 12-point fonts for printing. They had only up to 10 points. So Prabhupada was not happy with the small fonts. He moved on to another Sharma, Odisha Sharma's friend. His name was Gautam Sharma, who owned the OK press. So the right side you see the OK press, it was owned by Gautam Sharma. And the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, or the 3 volumes of the first canto, was printed by the OK Press in Delhi. And here, the third Sharma, where Prabhupada was the one who gave him a residential place for him to live because Prabhupada was homeless. Please remember, Prabhupada is a homeless person, right? It's very sad when you see Prabhupada now, he has hundreds of temples and thousands of devotees there. But at that point of time, by Krishna's inconceivable will, the Acharya had no place to stay in Delhi, right? So seeing his loneliness and yet his great potential, right? This third Sharma, his name was Sri Krishna, Sriman Sri Krishna Sharma. So Prabhupada was so happy with him because all the small things which you would like, Smartsan needs to live, a mattress to sleep provided, a bulb in the room required provided, right? Some bhoga to prepare food provided, a pen provided, everything is provided for his survival and his maintenance, and you also give some money for him for his basic, like a pocket expense to Prabhupada, right? So there is a guest book in the temple where Prabhupada writes about the appreciation he has for this wonderful soul called Krishna Pandit Sharma. I am pleased to write herein that I have come to Delhi from my headquarters at Keshi Ghat, Vrindavan, purely on spiritual mission to provide the cult of devotional service to the Lord. And I am more pleased to mention here that Sriman Sri Krishna Sharma, Prabhupada gave him a title. Can you believe that? Prabhupada, this Acharya, his name was Hari Bhaktanu Das, which is not different from what we call as Das Dasanu Das, right? Hari Bhakta Anudas, that means the one who serves the Hari Bhaktas. So Prabhupada given this great title has provided me a suitable room for my literary activities. I'm publishing in English fortnightly magazine. The name of the magazine is Back to Godhead. From this place and the Naval Prem Sabha, this Sharma was the secretary of this Sabha, of which is the foreign secretary, is arranging for my daily lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam. This ISKCON Chipivada has now taken over the temple, which is even ISKCON, right? Now, and we come back to Prabhupada's home in Vrindavan. In July 1962, few years before that, this particular person called Gaurachand Goswamiji was a proprietor of Radha Damodar Mandir, sent an invitation to Prabhupada, why don't you come and stay at this Radha Damodar temple? Why did he do that? Because he knew that Prabhupada was so deeply Krishna conscious, and the presence of the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami would be the perfect environment for Prabhupada to actually get more deeply inspired to do his work.
So when we choose a house, we see, there are certain criteria based on we will choose that, it's close to this and there is easy accessibility of this. So same way, when Prabhupada was made that offer, he already had a house in Vamsi Gopalji temple, but he decided that my mission is the mission of who? We are known as Rupanugas, right? So my mission is the mission of Rupa Goswami. And here, the Lord is making arrangement for me to stay next to the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. And for great souls, it is not just a structure. He knew that the Acharya personally resides in that Samadhi. So what greater fortune would be there than to be able to stay in the physical proximity of the predecessor Acharyas to be able to fulfill the mission. So when Gaurachand Goswami offered the room, and Prabhupada saw the room, you saw in the previous picture here, what is the condition of the room? This is the repaired room, which you see over here. It was in such a dilapidated condition that for years, nobody had inhabited that room. 300 years or something, nobody had used that room. So Prabhupada, of course, that so much of maintenance would be required, and he had no money. And at that time, he was asking for 5 rupees rent for that. And to repair this room, he would require 500 rupees. Now today 500 rupees, 500 rupees. But at that time, for anybody 500 rupees was a big number. And for Prabhupada, who had nothing, where would he get 500 rupees from? But he didn't want to let go the opportunity. So he immediately made the crane. Yeah, like the crane as an opportunity. He took the opportunity and he got this room repaired like that so that it becomes in a livable condition. little bit of plastering was done, some electrical fitting was done, the chatai wala, huh?
What is life?
Yeah, water supply, that chatai wala, like that, and a mattress, and like this arrangements were made, and he moved into the Radha Damodar temple. And what did he do over there? He knew that he is going to come to the west. Now, again, like the salt, as we were talking yesterday, he didn't think that I will go to the west and I will fulfill the mission of my spiritual master. He knew that I cannot do anything without books. So his whole concentration was on how to write the books and how to get them printed. So you see this typewriting. Somehow he gathered enough money to buy a typewriter, and day and night he was typing. I don't know, any of you have done typing? Yeah, and
On this type of typewriter.
yeah, on this type of typewriter, not on the keyboard. Huh? You have to like literally sometimes the buttons get stuck, press, your fingers pain. The old time ke typist, those who were there, fingers would pain. How many hours these fingers of Prabhupada, which we see over here, how many painless, thankless nights he must have sat and typed on this computer, I mean not computer, on this typewriter to feel the confidence to come to the US. And we all know that when he came here, he writes in his Jaladuta diary, not that I am going to the US and the books are there. He said the books are coming to the US and I am accompanying the books like a servant accompanies. Yeah, such and such big person is going and I'm accompanying. For him, he got the confidence when he had the books. He had the books and he said, now I'm going to accompany. And then the last Janmashtami which he had over there, he invited the governor of UP. What was his name? Vishwanath Roy to come for the Janmashtami over there. Now understand that Prabhupada he didn't have anything. Usually, it's not easy anywhere to contact big people, right? Governors and, MPs and all these people, not easy. But Prabhupada's purity and his sincerity of purpose was recognized even when he did not have anything in the anything with him. That even these big people, they would come understanding that who he is, what a personality he is, to support his mission and to be, able to assist him in whatever way they could assist him.
So left side is the receipt which Prabhupada gave, 25 rupees receipt for 5 days, 5 months of rent. You see on the left side, that is Prabhupada. And that is on the right side is the flyer, the last Janmashtami celebrated by Prabhupada before he left for America. Right? So now the dream is being fulfilled here. So 3 personalities to fulfill the dream. So Saroj Thakur, Prabhupada writes that, expresses this many times that even as a Grihastha, he would get this one repetitive dream in his life. What is that? His Guru Maharaj would come in his dream as a vision. He said, Abhay, take sannyas. Abhay, take sannyas, right? And you demand that he takes sannyas, right? But Prabhupada always sort of, kept himself away from that particular action, thinking that how would I be able to support my family? And he sort of always felt that the dream was not something which he would like to fulfill. But then ultimately that became such a roaring sound in his heart, and that dream became so powerful that he decided he must take sannyas, because that's the way a person would get the power to preach all over the world. So then he turned to his godbrother, whose name was Tirth Vilas Maharaj, who was the head of the Gaudiya Mutt that time at Bagh Bazar, is the headquarters of the Gaudiya Mutt. Even today it is the headquarters of the Gaudiya Mutt. Right? At Kolkata. The previous name was Kunja Bihari Prabhu, the Brahmachari. But he said, okay, Swamiji, not Swami that time, Abhaycharan Prabhu, if you want to take sannyas, you must come and first join the Gaudiya Mutt. We will give you a room to stay here. And if you want to print your books, we have our books to print also. If there is a time and money to print, we will print your books. If there is extra fund, we will see whether we can send you to the West, because the money has to decide. There are lots of ifs and buts, and ifs and buts for there. But realize that he cannot. And he doesn't have time to wait for all these things. So he turned to another godbrother. His name was Kesavji Maharaj, right? Bhakti Pragya Kesavji Maharaj, who immediately said, Abhay, you should take sannyas now, right? And when he forced to take sannyas, Prabhupada realized that my Guru Maharaj is acting through I got to that, right? So this is that mutt. If you ever go to Mathura, this mutt is something that you should visit. It is the Keshavji Gaudiya mutt, where Prabhupada had stayed before and edited the Gaudiya Patrika, which was published from that mutt. A daily newspaper was published. And these deities are there, which you can see on the right side. If you don't get it, you can have the some of the deities right now here. And the special thing about this photograph is that the Gaurang Mahaprabhu photo, which you're seeing with hand raised, with right hand, that deity was donated by Prabhupada himself to this mutt.
Then he was a
householder. And so three personalities were there. His sannyas guru's name is Bhakti Pratnya Keshavji Maharaj. His dear godmother, whose name was Akinchand Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, whose Samadhi Mandir is at Pavan Sarovar. Some of you may have probably been there and seen that. And then, of course, is Narayan Maharaj, who performed the sannyas ceremony. So these people's personalities came together and gave the sannyas. The wonderful thing about the ceremony is that after sannyas was given and the danda was given to Prabhupada, Prabhupada entered with the white cloth and was going giving the saffron cloth, the attendant sannyasi. He was asked to speak and give a lecture. But there are very few people sitting. It's not like a big advertised place and there are 100 people coming to attend a sannyas. Just few people. And Prabhupada spoke in which language? In English.
Even though most of the people there only understood Hindi.
He should have spoken in Bengali or in Hindi. Prabhupada said, I am taking sannyas, not for the Matavasis here. The sannyas for people in the West. Therefore, the first lecture Prabhupada gave after sannyas was not in Hindi, but was in English, right? So, we all know Prabhupada wrote so many books. BBT is a book house of publications. But these three books are very special to us, right? This cover page, all of you have Back to God magazine. Now you're seeing the 4-color printing and glossy paper and all that. But this is the second Back to God magazine printed in 1944. You can see how simplistic that Back to God magazine looked like at that time. And how many of you heard this book, Light of the Bhagavad? This book is very special also. In Jan of 1960, Prabhupada got an invitation from, you know how why this book was written? It was an invitation from Japan, right? So one Dr. Nakano was there, who was having a conference on the International Congress on Human Spirits, right? So invitation came to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was asked to come there. He said, I will arrange for you to stay there, your boarding, lodging, everything. You just arrange for the travel fare. Prabhupada went to such an extent, he said, if not UK, not New York, maybe Krishna wanted to start my mission from Japan, right? Prabhupada was willing to take any opportunity what was coming his way. He was fully open, right? So all that he needed was a travel fare from here to Japan and back. Prabhupada met so many industrialists, so many wealthy people. Prabhupada has, please remember, Prabhupada has had so many no's in his life. He knocked many, many doors, but most doors opened only to hear a no from them. Including Dr. Radhakrishnan, the then president of the country, even contacted him, went to that level. But even he said, no, you won't allow a private person to go because we are not connected with an institute. We only have institutes recognized by the government of India to go. There was no. So Prabhupada by this time had printed this book, which has 50 nice, beautiful pictures of the themes from the 10th of Srimad Bhagavatam. And on 10 themes, which are colored pictures, he wrote purports, which depicts the Vaishnava philosophy. This book is hardly read by any ISKCON devotee today, right? So we have just probably held the book in our hand sometimes, right? We're lucky. This is a beautiful book showing Prabhupada's dream of what he wanted to do for people who didn't have any understanding of Vedic culture. And on the right side, you see this book. This is the first book of Prabhupada, actually. This is at the time the Sputnik was sent. Sputnik 2 was sent by Russia. And this is all in the news. Prabhupada writes a book at that time relevant to the times, right? That you don't have to go make a Sputnik to go to other planets. You can go to these planets by the mystic process of yoga. So this is a book written at that time. So, Prabhupada was a man of giant contacts. There is a lonely man, a completely unknown sannyasi, but his access somehow, his purity was so attractive that you could get the completely biggest people of the country drawn to him. So as I said before, Vishwanath Das, governor of UP, became a very close friend of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada invited him to come to his own house in Lucknow, where Prabhupada went, and there was a Kirtan party in Vishwanath Das's house, where he met a lot of singers. He met a great friend there called Shishir Bhattacharya. He personally met and sent copies. See, Prabhupada's style was he would send his books to the big people, right, and get the reviews. And sometimes he would get audiences from there. So some of his contacts, he got audience with the vice president and then president of our country, Zakir Hussain also. Even though he is not from the Hindu community, he appreciated deeply his commitment to a spiritual cause. And of course, a very special push was given to him by Lal Bahadur Shastri, the Prime Minister of India, because they met. There was a person who knew Prabhupada, and that person was performing yoga in the same club with Lal Bahadur Shastri. They were yoga mates together, right? So he said, I will give you contact of Lal Bahadur Shastri. You can meet him in the Parliament Gardens. Prabhupada meets him, and the famous picture I not put over here, where Prabhupada meets him, Lal Bahadur Shastri says, they should go into all the libraries of the country, right? So with that documentation of him meeting Prime Minister of the country, Prabhupada had a lot of orders for Srimad Bhagavatam in libraries of our country. So, how did he get the money, of course? All this is fine, but where does their money come from? So the first Srimad Bhagavatam was printed by another contact we got about this person. We must take this person's name with great honor and respect, Sri Hanuman Prasad Poddar, right? He's famous in all over the country as the chief editor of Kalyan magazine, involved with the Gita Gorakhpur Press, right? Now, here is a person, of course, he's also a great author and also a mystic person. He had divine connections with many demigods who blessed him to do the work he was doing. Before BBT, the biggest distributor of religious literature in the world is Gita Press. So he gave us life to preserve Vedic culture by printing so many books. There are about 3,500 manuscripts they have published in millions of copies all over the world, right? So he is just little about Prabhupada's age, and there's a nice detail given here where Prabhupada went to meet him. Of course, he had no money, but in his bank balance, Prabhupada had at that time only 130 rupees. He takes a train to Gorakhpur, it drops to 57 rupees. Takes a rickshaw to from Lucknow station to Gorakhpur, it drops by another 6 rupees. And then a rickshaw to his house. So Prabhupada had practically no money by the time he reached Hanuman Prasad Poddar. He was practically bankrupt, right? But by Krishna's mercy, he gave him at that time 4,000 rupees.
Donation.
4,000 rupees, because we could see that this man was, what he was doing is in complete line with what he also was doing, but he was doing much better, because writing Srimad Bhagavatam, nobody dared to attend to Srimad Bhagavatam. Many people wrote about Gita, but Bhagavatam was so special that nobody ventured into that, right? Hardly anybody. So you could see the bona fide of this word, and he gave him that. The second volume was printed by this company, which is there in UP still. It's called LH Sugar Factory. One executive of that factory gave him 5,000 rupees. Huge amount, right? And the third volume came when he met this very special person whom we must worship in our hearts. Is Her Grace Sumati Murarji.
Actually, whenever one time, our spiritual master was giving a class on George Harrison, the time he left his body, and while speaking, he choked up, and he was saying that now at that time, now we talk about George Harrison, he's one of the Beatles and all, but at that time, when Prabhupada needed help, George Harrison played such an important role to make the Hare Krishna mantra famous. Were it not for George Harrison's help, it would have taken much more time for his mission to be fulfilled. So he was saying that why George Harrison is important and so valuable to us, because he helped Prabhupada when he needed it the most. As they say, service is best where the need is most, right? Wherever the need is. So all these personalities, the purpose of trying to remember these names, ultimately they are names, or Sharan Sharma, Krishna Sharma. But these names are so important because at crucial times in Prabhupada's lives, they played a role, they became a link of chain to help Prabhupada to fulfill the mission, to move on, to keep going forward towards that. Because it is, we can understand the age and all the odds that he had against him. Were it not for each link, that bridge, what we talk about, the Ram Setu, which was built, every monkey put in one rock. Some things, even the squirrel put in. So small help, big help, but ultimately it was because of that that the bridge was made, right? So even for Prabhupada, and Sumati Morarji became a very big link. She put a very big stone on the bridge, right? Why was that? Because she's a very special person, very pious Hindu family. And you know what was her name? Her
Natural name.
natural name? Her name was Yamuna. And when she got married and came into the,
Family.
Morarji family, and she was such a powerful lady. You see, Gujarati sari, head covered, like an ordinary pious. But even materially, she became the first woman CEO of her company at that time. Of any company, she was the one. And Yamuna is a river. And all that is all the vessels. How many vessels?
54.
54 ships the India Steamship Company had. And all of them were named like that. Jal Taranga,
Pushpa, Jal Manjari,
Jaladuta.
all was other. There are 54 cargo ships, and she was the CEO of 6,000 workers working with her. 6,000. She's the only lady in the history of navigation company as the international president of the International Navigation Federation for the entire world. Only woman who have done this. So she was extremely powerful,
At that time.
and yet her heart being a pious Pushti Margi, followed Vallabhacharya's Sampradaya, right? And so her role is extremely crucial. Prabhupada's godmother, his name was Kripa Sundu Prabhu, who took him to one big industrialist called Mr. Khandelwal. Prabhupada gives presentation, talked to him. Khandelwal said a big no, exclamation, right? And at last, Kripa Sundu Prabhu took him to another so he sent him to Srimati Morarji because Srimati Morarji had given some donation to Gaudiya Mutt at that time. Right? So the person who knew this, he said, she is a potential donor because she is Pushti Margi, she is a Vaishnavi herself, and she already had Gaudiya Mutt in some way. So try it out. Prabhupada, anyone was giving any clue, any connection, any contact, any phone number, Prabhupada would always explore that. He never said, oh, what is the use? I'm already tired meeting so many people. He never left. Krishna would work from any source, right? She was giving everything a chance. So he went to Andheri East, where she used to stay in the senior colony, and he would stand at the gate and the car seeing him, I would zoom away, right? Prabhupada would just couldn't talk to her, right? So her driver, his name is Bolaram, was Bolaram. He said, now this is very painful. Prabhupada would try to meet her, but she's such a lady, right? She's such a powerful lady. She was an international connection to the president, right? Why would no Swami from Vrindavan, why would she meet anybody that, right? So for days, Prabhupada tried to meet her unsuccessfully. At last, Prabhupada sat there like a beggar, right? For 5 long hours, right? And then Mr. Choksi came out along with Mr. Morarji and said, oh, he's been sitting here for a long time to meet you. I said, okay, Swamiji, can come and meet me. So next day, she met him. And then Prabhupada, of course, gave a presentation. You know the whole story of how we said, how we convinced her. But the first answer was, of course, big. No. Not because she didn't want to have the money to give him, but she was saying, oh, you're an old man. And she knew what is New York, she knew what is America. Old man of 70 years, what is the probability that he can survive and do anything useful in this country which was full of, you know what America was at that time. So it's impossible for him to do anything here. And probably somebody, he said, you will die, go to America. But he said she insisted. Prabhupada was very insistent, very perseverant. He never, okay, kept on persisting till he could, right? And he said, last he said, your father is asking something from his daughter. Want to give it? And then a heart melted. Your father is asking from his daughter something. Won't the daughter give it? And then when Prabhupada expressed that Vatsalya Bhav with her, she just melted away in love for him. She said, Swamiji, we arrange for a fee form, your sponsorship letter, your visa, your passport, and your earlier here she was already offered travel fare, but that was not possible now. So he said even she would get a travel fare. So he got a free ticket to go to America. Anyway, so Prabhupada before to America had this vision that his vision will be considered successful as per the desire of his previous acharyas when three things happen. What is that? When will that day come when a temple will be built in every house of the world? Right? See the desire of an acharya. A temple, an altar of a temple with Radha Krishna, Gaurnitai, Parampara, right? In every house of the entire world. Second, when will the High Court judge be a Gaudiya Vaishnava? At that time, barristers and judges were considered, big guys, right? And then the Vaishnava meaning votes be elected as the president of the land and preach speech everywhere. So when will the country head be like a Rajarshi? When will the court judge be a Vaishnava? And when will there be a temple in every house? This is the dream. Our acharyas were dreamers, but not just daydreamers. Their dreaming was backed up by Krishna's grace, and Krishna will definitely fulfill those dreams. So, the last Janmashtami we talked about, three beautiful songs were sung at Janmashtami. Sri Krishna Prabhu Daya Karo More, Nitya Pada Kamala, and Precious Goswami's sung. Now, these are very special documents. Three documents, please take note. The first one on the left side. Now, Prabhupada is about to go to America, right? It's already said, he's got the cargoes, all the arrangements have been made, the P form has come, sponsorship form has come. So this, and the middle one is the sponsorship actual form sent from here, from Butler, Pennsylvania, by whom? Gopal Agrawal. Anyone knows his father's name? Prabhupada was a businessman, right? What is his name? His name is Prasad.
Gopal Prasad
Agrawal. So that this sponsorship form is the only document which tells his father's name. Whom Prabhupada had met in Mathura a couple of times and had said, I want to go to America. Now, this person had sent, was willing to sponsor anybody who wanted to go to America. He was sort of non-selective. But he had sent sponsorship forms which were accepted by his son. Pradhan would say, okay, send whomever is sending, let's send them. But nobody knows how the man from here there. So he got, oh, Papa ne bheja hai sponsorship form. He sent another sponsor form. Chalo, I'm sponsoring this person. But here, the first time the person has accepted that he's actually going to come to America, right? Now, before going, the Shishir Bhattacharya, whose name we mentioned earlier, became a close friend. He was a flamboyant and young musician.
He met at the UP governor's place.
At Lucknow, right? So Prabhupada became friendly with him. And when Prabhupada came at last from Delhi to Kolkata, even though he had so many people living there, his family did not contact anybody. Prabhupada had given up contact with his family completely, right? The only person he contacted was Shishir Bhattacharya. And he was very excited because here is Swamiji going to America, right? So there will be big news in the newspapers. So they went to several newspapers to make this as a news item. We printed. The answer was no, right? At last, one small paper called Basumati Dainik Basumati, that took this thing, and there's a small, actually the original cutting, you can see it, which is there, original cutting, which talks about how the Swamiji is going to America to preach the message of Srimad Bhagavatam in English language, and that people in America are very much eager to welcome him there and hear from this great song. This is the actual cuttings is there. And the right side you're seeing is Prabhupada's visa, right? when he reached Boston, he was asked, Swamiji, so much, how long are you going to stay here? He always asked, na? We also asked, how long to stay here, right? So he said, that's 2 months, right? So this visa was for 2 months, and the proposal would come back because in 2 months nothing had happened when he was in New York. Nothing had happened. Would come back here and said, Swamiji, you want to stay here more? And you would ask, so what are you going back? What would probably nothing was going to happen here because 2 months there was no movement whatsoever. So would only ask when is also going back. But his heart was thinking, no, I should try more. I should try more. So this way, Prabhupada extended 3 times, again 3 times. And 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, right? So September he has come here. 2 months he got September, as you know, he came here September 1965, 17 September, right? So 2 months visa he got. Then 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 extensions. And then Mike, that is Michael Grant, our Mughal Goswami Prabhu, Maharaj, he made a permanent situation whereby no more extensions will be required. So this is the actual visa and the stamp and with the date that date for an extension. So this is the final thing, right? Which all of us, the rest I will say is history. Prabhupada entering Jaladuta, and then in Jaladuta, if you know, Prabhupada for those 6 days, he went through severe seasickness, about to leave his body in dehydration, he got an heart attack, right? And then the Dashavatars descended upon the boat, and the Dashavatars took charge of the boat. And that time, after that, it is said the Atlantic, which was ferocious with tidal waves, became like a placid lake, like a swimming pool, so placid, right? And then Prabhupada's life was saved. So the titles here we are saying is our Savior himself was saved here. And of course, Prabhupada lands on that fateful day, the holy land of, not holy land, he made it holy. And we say that wherever Prabhupada went, that place became a tirtha. Swantastena Gadavataha, right? So Prabhupada made the entire planet holy, just like Bhagirathi Maharaj, whenever he went, the Ganga followed behind him. Wherever Srila Prabhupada went, Bhakti Devi followed him. And therefore we have Detroit, we have Los Angeles, we have San Francisco, Paris, Sydney, London. That's where Prabhupada has fulfilled the dream of Mahaprabhu. Prithvi te achayat, Nagaradi gram, Sarvatra prasar hoibe, Moranam. And all of us sitting here are a product of that struggle of this one great Mahabhagavad Vaishnava. We're sitting comfortably in this beautiful hall and hearing Krishna Katha, having nice Kirtan, nice Prasad. So our life in gratitude belongs to Srila Prabhupada, and we can only feel peaceful in our life when we have given ourselves, our prana, our artha, our diya, our vacha in his loving service. Thank you very much.
And the more we try to, in our olden homes, at our villages and all, we usually have so many photographs, you remember? And anybody who comes to our house, we say, oh, this was my father, this was my grandfather, this was my great-grandfather, this was my great-great-great-grandfather, right? We put, so I was hearing one lecture and somebody was saying that, imagine going to the house of Prahlad or Virochan's house, I will say, this is my father Prahlad, this is my grandfather Hiranyakashipu, this is my uncle Hiranyaksha, everybody over there. And people say it with so much of pride, I belong to such and such. So actually for us, the greatest pride that we feel is our connection to our parampara. Otherwise, spirituality is part of India, part of Indians, there's nothing so great. But because we are part of such a great parampara, and the more details we know, there are so many games in the world, right? When kitty parties and cocktail parties, people meet, they have they make partners, husband and wife, and they will have games. They will put how much you know about your partner. They will say, what is her favorite dish? I think so, dahi vada. But they are not sure. Which is his favorite color? I think black, Everything is like, I think, but you're not even so sure when you are, staying together. So even though you may be connected with somebody, it is important for us to know details. When they go home, I've heard, that the partner will, you don't even know so much about me. Huh? So many years we are married and you don't know so much about me. So in that sense, we are married to ISKCON. We are married. How many details? And this is still nothing. All Prabhupada disciples, they are writing so many books with so many details on it. So how much more is there to know about it? As they say in these films, the heroes of our life, of people's lives are what these actors and actresses, and they have pages on their what does he like and what is his hobby and which is his favorite place he goes for a vacation, and everybody wants to know so many details about that person. So why? Because they want to develop love and attachment to the person. So this is the process. Even materially people use that. So why not use that spiritually? That we want to know these details. Next time if somebody says, oh, my surname is Yadav. Oh, Yadav, Krishna was a Yadav. Some Sharma. Oh yeah, this was Sharma. So that connection which we can have with things which we can meet on day-to-day basis helps us to have a deeper bonding with Prabhupada. And the deeper we love Prabhupada, it's easier to love Krishna. And we can feel proud of our heritage, whom we belong to. So thank you very much, because, it is such a pleasure to share these things. Hopefully by repeating to you all, we'll also remember more deeper in our mind. Right? No question.
Do you have time for questions or should we end? I don't know. What was going to say? We should end here? Yeah. I think we should end here. You can make announcements.
Oh, that was really nectar. Very grateful to you for your presence and the words of wisdom. Thank you very much. Last 2-3 years actually. Let us express our gratitude and melodies and yes, Haribo. 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 Saying grace. Actually, now couple of announcements. One Tuesday we are now. So we have Abhishek in the evening. We have programs. The Kirtan is of course it will be announced. But evening Abhishek, Aarti class is oneness. Also Friday, Ramrai Prabhu is coming, Mother Mom is coming. They have Brahmotsa this weekend actually. So Friday evening Math Satsang we have here. And Saturday we are doing a Ram Sriram Kalyan stage. Every past couple of years, small is full of stage 300 people. So Mother Mom will be here, Ramrai will be here. Also a day, small correction that thing. We do keep the mission for a day, 10 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the night, with the break of Sitaram Kalyan in the evening. So Sunday also, so actually also the date installation, we are celebrating 6th year. Actually, we are finishing 6 years for the last installation. Please do come and be present. This happens only once a year. So we are calling other tables also that in different areas. Please be present and make this promotion successful.